All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, January 23rd, 2023. It is the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here on Mondays, Mr. Big Marcel. Marcel, man, glad to have you back in the chat. How was your weekend overall? I mean, obviously the fights were really good, so how's everything going with you?
Yeah, I had a fun weekend. It was a good weekend. I gotta say, I think it was the second worst card of the year so far. Uh, but yeah, it was a great card, man. I really
Second worst, I
enjoyed it.
think it was better than the other one.
Yeah, second,
Oh, I see what
yeah,
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was a great card, man. I think I pretty much enjoy every fight. So yeah,
Yeah, it was a solid card. So we'll obviously recap UFC 283 here today. There's no card this weekend, or I should say this coming weekend. Um, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, why that is. Do you know why there's a break this coming weekend?
I have no idea. Maybe there was that Dex card was supposed to be in Korea, right? So
Yeah,
maybe they wanted to do some extra tour. I have no idea, or to make some preparations. It's just weird,
yeah.
man. We're coming off a month
That's
without
why that's
UFC,
why
and
I'm
then
asking
two
you.
weeks. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. But like, I guess they want us to watch Power Slap instead, right? But I haven't watched it, by the way. I just saw that clip of the guy
I
getting
don't give a shit.
destroyed. But that's all I saw. Anyways, let's get into it, guys. So, like I said, we'll recap UFC 283 here. We got Glenn in the chat. What's going on, my friend? Let's get into it, Marcel. I'll pull it up on UFC
That's what
stats.
she said.
We'll just go through the card. I got Marcus in the chat. What's up, Marcus? Glad to have you here, and congrats on your bet. I know you bet on Jamahal. We'll talk about him in a second here. Let's pull it up. Let's go through the fights, Marcel.
Yeah,
Start the main event, obviously. Jamahal. I predicted you picked Teixeira, I think, or
yeah, I did.
okay. Well, I mean, like, you know what? Like, you know how you did overall? I went 10-5, so I mean, it could have been a little better. Do you know how many you got right? Probably 10 as well. I think you had the same as me.
Um, I let me think. I had this one wrong. I
You
had
got Moreno right though, right? I think.
yeah. I
Yeah.
got Paul Craig. I got wrong.
And Shogun too. I mean, those two were, yeah.
Shogun wrong.
I thought one of those two would at least win, Marcel, but it is what it is.
Lacerda wrong. Oliveira wrong. So at least 5. I don't know, maybe more.
I
No,
think
5. I think.
we might have been tied because I know you obviously picked Bruno Ferrer, which was a great pick.
Yeah, we
Gotta give you
both
credit.
went 10-5, but we didn't pick the same.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. We both had different underdogs. I wish we
Yeah.
both had the consensus dog on those guys. Anyways, let's
Yeah.
get into it. Let's start with the main event here. Jamahal Hill takes care of business. This fight honestly went how expected, except there was no finish. It just shows you how tough Glover is, obviously, Marcel. Like, just an absolute legend. Obviously, coming off a stoppage loss his last fight with 30 seconds left. But I mean, this fight was just, again, showed you how much heart the guy has. Absorbed 232 significant strikes. I mean, he took a lot of damage in this fight. Obviously, retired after the fight. We'll talk about that in a second here. But the story of the fight is Jamahal Hill. Just looked amazing in this fight. We've always liked this guy, Marcel, on the podcast. He's leveled up, obviously, since that fight with Paul Craig. That was almost 2 years ago now, which is crazy to think about. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was. Just looked amazing since then. 4 straight bonuses in his performances, or knockout or fight of the night. Guys looked amazing. You look at his UFC record now. It's a 6-1 and 1 no contest, and that was a win too over Clinton DeBrave. I think was it test positive for weed? I want to say it was weed.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so like he knocked that guy out with a knee to the body too. So really could be 7-1 with 7 knockouts. And then the Paul Craig fight was kind of weird, right? The way that happened. But
I remember Hill saying after Nevada allowed like marijuana or whatever, he was like, "Can I get my win back against Brio?"
That's just complete bullshit that they took it away from him. Anyways, yeah, I mean the guy's amazing. Like he's such a great fighter, and I know obviously right now, Marcel, there's a lot of people kind of going after Jamahal because of the comments he made about Dana White and the slap, which honestly he shouldn't have said anything about that. It was not the smartest thing. But at the same time, like I don't even care about that right now. I'm trying to look at him as a fighter, and he is a fantastic fighter. And I mean, I think he could potentially hold it up for a while. Like I do think this Ankalaev fight potentially, if that's next, I think that's a very intriguing fight. Like I think Ankalaev might be favored, but I think after this performance, like Jamahal Hill, this was a breakthrough performance. Like he's looked great before, but like look how many strikes he landed, Marcel. 232 significant strikes. Like he looked amazing in this fight. Obviously, Glover took him down that last round, but other than that, like really was a flawless performance by him. 50-44 scorecards. He looked amazing. Just give me your thoughts on his performance because I thought he looked incredible.
First of all, I'm surprised that when you talked about the four bonuses back to back. I mean, that Santos fight wasn't that great, I think, but man, this one, I mean, Jamahal Hill looked like he was on a mission. You know, he looked like he was on a mission, and he looked like championship material to me in this fight. You know, and didn't have that feeling before with him, to be really honest. I always thought he was pretty decent. You know, but I didn't thought like. Listen, man, the cardio thing we didn't really know. You know, that was a thing. But the ground game, were like we don't really know. You know, we actually don't know because we only saw him pretty much on the ground against Paul Craig, and I can't really much remember a lot of him on the ground. You know, and but he stopped so many takedowns of Glover, man. I think Glover got him down one or two times, but it's like he stopped the majority of the takedowns. You know, he kept it
2 of
standing.
17 with the takedowns.
Yeah,
That's
there you go.
very good
So
takedown defense. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean he did very well. You know, his stand up was really good. Um, and Glover, I think Glover was already out of it in the third round. You know, that's what I think. He was
Yeah.
super gassed. He was
Mhm.
tired, and he was beat up. You know, and it's just because he's super tough that he was let's go baby in the fifth round. He's crazy. You know, I love him, but he's crazy, and he keep and. At a certain moment in the fifth round, he got top position. He even got him a mount, I think, at a
Yeah.
certain moment. Yeah, so I was like, oh, maybe he can do something. But you saw Glover. Glover was just done at that moment, and
Mhm.
Jamahal still had the power to get him off him. You know, get himself in a better position and get back to standing. Uh, Complete performance by Jamal Hill, man. I mean, great
Yeah.
win. Do I think he will have a long reign as a champion? I don't know for sure because I think like this is the first guy in the top five
Yeah.
he fought. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, I'm looking for what's next for him. But I was pleasantly surprised with what he showed. So yeah,
It's just a damn shame Yuri's not available to fight right now because like that fight would be so fucking good. Like, I mean, obviously, I want to see the rematch between Glover and Yuri, but honestly, Marcel, I talked about the preview last week. The amount of damage Glover took in that fight, he was never
yeah,
going to be the same, you know. And after this fight, obviously retired. We'll talk about him in one sec. But I just want to look at the rankings quickly, and I'm looking at them right now. Yuri's ranked number one still, even though obviously he gave up his belt. Jamahal was actually ranked seventh, which is crazy. So he's going to go all the way up to the champion now. I would assume number three, Ankalaev's next, unless the UFC really hates him, which is possible after that last performance. Dana White didn't like it. If that's the case, maybe Jan Blachowicz could get the title shot. Do you think that's possible? Jan could sneak in instead.
for me it's one of the two, you know. But the thing is
Yeah,
with the UFC is like they really love storylines, don't they? So
yeah.
if Yuri can't fight, you know, and they don't want to give it to Ankalaev and Blachowicz, I honestly see them making the Hill against Pereira fight at light heavyweight,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
would be interesting
and that's
too. I mean, that's a fight I don't know if it happens this year, but I think in the next year or two, I think that
I,
fight
I
happens.
I don't think it should happen right now. You know, I think
Yeah, I
Pereira
agree.
first should defend his belt at least one or two times.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I,
you never know with UFC. You know?
I think if Pereira goes in there and beats like Izzy again in a trilogy or not a trilogy, well, I guess it'd be the fourth fight actually, but
Yeah,
like second time in MMA. If he beats him and then Whitaker, like
yeah.
then he could move up
Then
to
I'm
4 5.
also cool with it if they do it. You know.
Yeah. Anyways, Rakic is another guy that could be in the mix, but I mean, I think he's coming off that loss right to Jan, so he's got to get back probably in the win column. Anthony Smith, I doubt it he gets it. So for me, it's probably going to either Ankalaev or
Yeah,
Blachowicz. That's what I would
Anthony
guess.
Smith, man, he went to Brazil to be a backup fighter. He missed weight. I was actually surprised by that,
Me
man.
too, and he tweeted about it and was like, I'll be fine or whatever. But he missed weight again on the second attempt, 209 and then 206.5. Kind of weird. Like I remember when Vicente Luque was the backup guy. What fight was that? You remember he was supposed to be backup
Yeah, I don't know what fight, but I remember it.
in
Yeah,
New York, and he missed weight too. And it's like, why are these guys missing weight? Like, just in case, tell if someone gets sick the day of the fight, then they need them, then they
yeah.
won't win the belt. You know what I mean, Marcel? So
You
like,
know what? You
why
know
even
what?
take the fight if you can't make the weight?
You know what it is? If you're like in the corner of one guy, like I think Luca was in the corner of one guy that back then, also in that event. Yeah, you're not just there just because. But for Anthony Smith, man, I mean, he went to Brazil basically for not getting paid.
He didn't get paid at
I,
all?
I don't know, but I think if you don't make weight, you don't get paid. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Well, I mean, he still works for them, but yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
okay, but
I
kind
agree.
of weird.
I
I
agree.
didn't expect that at all. You know, if I would have bet the house, I would have bet the house that Anthony Smith made weight. You know what I mean? So
Okay, let's get some comments here. We got John. John says Jamal looked great. Worry about how he'd handle Glover's ground game past 5 covers. He even reversed him in the 5th round. Hype, what's up, man? Glad to have you in the chat. Marcus, what time Glover's age showed, and it did. He said he got minus 125 on Hill was a good price. I think it was a good price, Marcus. I mean, he looked like he was minus 300 in this fight. It's minus 400 probably. Antoine, what's going on, man? Glad to have you in the chat. Hill's some more comments here. Stability was beautiful. Yeah, his takedown defense looked great. It looked way better than against Thiago Santos. Like Thiago Santos took him down way easier than Glover did, which surprised me because I thought, Glover got in some deep shots, and I'm like, okay, he's probably going to get him down, and he couldn't get him down to that last round. So very good takedown defense with Yuri. Yeah, we were talking about Ankalaev or Blachowicz. Did you guys see the journalist, man, after Jamahal said what you have to say now after they were doubting him? Like, that's not fair. Yeah, bunch of haters, man. That's the thing. Like, everyone's always trying to rain on people's parade. Jamahal is a guy that, like, listen, he's a flawed person, obviously, like the rest of us. Like, no one's perfect, right? And Jamahal said some stuff with Dana White thing that he shouldn't have said. But I don't look at that. I'm looking at him as a fighter, and he is a phenomenal fighter. Go ahead, Marcel.
The problem is with like people on Twitter and Instagram, they're making it super personal, and even like journalists. Like, I'm like, why are you trying to get in a discussion or something with a fighter about this? It will not go well. You know what I mean? So it's just stupid. And by the way, I want to actually expand a little bit on that. I don't know. I think you saw it. I think Barstool said like the McKinney was gonna get was gonna lose to Bonfim, and McKinney said like Barstool don't know their shit, Then McKinney obviously lost, and then they wrote a headline like McKinney gets starched. Obviously, we know our shit or something like that, like super petty and trying to get back at him. It's like super unprofessional, I mean, the thing is like, if a fighter says something to you that for some reason gets to you personally, you cannot use that professionally against him. You know what I mean? So if a fighter comes to me and he gets under my skin or even be nasty to me, I'm not going to write a bad headline on him on my website. It's just unprofessional. It's super stupid, and that's why Barstool, I can't take Barstool serious. I'm sorry, I can't. So yeah, it's just super bad. It's unprofessional, and I think they should apologize to McKinney, even though McKinney maybe started to say something to them which wasn't good, but still, he's the fighter. He can say whatever he wants at a certain level, and it wasn't that bad what he said, in my opinion, but you as a professional journalist, you should be professional in your writing, in the way you act, and that's not professional. After a fighter gets knocked out, you're like, haha, you got knocked out. You see, I was right. Just stupid, man. You're not a fan. You should be, if you are a media member and you pretend like a journalist, act like a journalist, not like a fan.
For sure. Let's get some more comments here, Marcel. Got to wonder. Let me close this. Sorry. Got to wonder if the issue with Glover only clipping Jan and Chornos playing his side ring. Yeah, possibly. Who should be? Okay, we'll talk about Deiveson in a second here. Gorilla, thanks, man. Oh yeah, so I want to give this guy a shout out because he's the one who's been making the graphics for us. So thanks, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, and we're obviously using them. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. So, man, glad to have you in the chat as well. Yeah, we'll talk about Moreno. Let's go to anything else you want to say at the main event? Or you want to move on to the co-main?
Let's move on. I think we said it all. I think Hill did an amazing job, and definitely going to hostile territory, your first ever title fight, fighting like that. All kudos to him,
All right, agreed. So let's go to the co-main event. Brandon Moreno finishes Deiveson Figueiredo doctor stoppage at the end of the third round. He landed
stoppage.
Yeah, he landed a big punch, and the fight ended. It's almost funny because it ended with a doctor stoppage and not like an actual knockout. Like you could do the fifth fight at some point, but I don't think we need to see this fight again. Good pick, Marcel, with this one. The one thing that was making me a little hesitant was the age, right? Because Deiveson's he's older than me. He's 35, and that was one thing I was looking at. I'm like, oh man, he's gotten old quickly. But because of the last fight and the way it went, I thought he looked good enough. I mean, both guys look good, let's be honest. But I'm like, all right, I'll have to go with him again. But obviously, this was a great performance by Moreno. And I think him going from Kraus to Safe helped him out because Safe was probably why are you even standing with this guy? Just take him down. Take him down like you did in the second fight, Marcel. And that's where he had the most success. Obviously, he finished him with the punch, but I think taking him down, getting him tired, making him think about the takedown, that was a smart game plan. Obviously, I think the coaching was a big part of it. James Krause probably would have had a bet on him winning, by decision or something, would have had fighting the whole 5 rounds. I don't think safe betting on the fights. I'm just kidding about that. But yeah, I thought he looked great, obviously, and for Figueiredo, Antoine was asking what should be next to him. Like, I really don't know. I mean, I would assume someone in the top 15, but at 135, because obviously I think he's done at 125, which I thought would be the case either way. But with Moreno, obviously he's going to fight Pantoja next. And we talked about Marcel. Like, Pantoja is a guy that we both picked to be the champ because he's already lost to him twice. Moreno's lost to Pantoja twice, once in the UFC, once on Tough. And obviously it's a different fight now than the last time they fought in 2018, which was 5 years ago. But I do think Pantoja is very good, very underrated, and I honestly think he could win that fight. So, anyways, Moreno looked great, and nice pick, Marcel. But yeah, Moreno looked awesome. Any thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I got really irritated by Deiveson during the week. The way he acted, the banana thing, and the weigh-ins. I think that was clearly about the Rojo thing that happened, like last year.
Yep.
Like, Brandon could do anything about that, it was his teammate who did it, and Luis was still upset about it, apparently, but that's the thing. Like, Figueiredo plays a character which I really don't dig. Just do normal. You're a good fighter, you don't need it. Then the first round, where he deliberately kicked him in the face with 10 seconds to go, he was looking at Brandon and he kicked him in the face. Herb Dean, as usual, didn't saw it or didn't mention it. Should have been an immediate point deduction for Figueiredo at that moment. Was a deliberate foul. Second round, he grabbed the cage twice to position, which he did also against Alex Perez, which he did in another Brandon Moreno fight. I'm so done with him. And the referees don't even see it, don't even warn him for it. It's really stupid. Then gets punched in the eye with the side of the knuckle from Moreno. Okay, maybe if he thinks it's an eye poke, I understand. You don't see it, and if it feels like an eye poke, you think it's an eye poke. So I see that. Kindly grazing with the other hand in his face, but I feel like the knuckle was the thing what did it. Fight got finished. Well done, by Moreno. Brazilian fans, super disrespectful. Why you should throw even to Moreno, man. I mean, isn't there a much nicer guy in the UFC? Moreno was even laughing about it when he went through the crowd and got stuff thrown at him.
They threw in popcorn at him or something, or
I don't know, popcorn, beer, whatever. Let's say I hope it was beer, not piss or something. But yeah, just overall, like, I'm happy Moreno won. Figueiredo would have went to bantamweight anyways, I think. So it's good for the division, and but really, man, Figueiredo has to cut the cringiness. It's probably because he's with Captain Eric and with Cejudo. I know for this camp he was in Brazil, but still he trains at Fight Ready. He should stop the cringiness, man. It's just stupid. He doesn't need it. He's a good fighter. I like to watch him, and he should stop doing those fouls. Those deliberate fouls. And for the referees, they should take mention to that. It's something that really pissed me off during this fight again. And I feel like Figueiredo is a great fighter, but the whole damn time when I see him fight in every fight, he pulls something like that, and there are no, how do you say that, repercussions or whatever. So that's just bad in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. A couple other questions here. Pantoja lost last fought in July and ended up staying a year. Yeah, but he's going to get the title shot now. And I think he got, because he was the backup fighter too. Remember we talked about that last week? He was.
Yeah, he was.
He weighed in. He actually made weight, unlike Anthony Smith. I honestly would lean. We both picked him to win the title in the year.
Yes.
Actually, our predictions are going pretty well so far, Marcel. We both picked Gone. Like, we both picked Pantoja. Like, they have a chance, So
I wouldn't say smoke, but
I don't think he smokes him either. But yeah, I think that I think it'd be a close fight, because I think it'll be closer than the last couple fights. I'm pretty sure he finished him on top. Didn't he submit him? I want to say in the house, the first time.
What's it, sir?
Yes, choke, right.
Second time, yeah.
First time, right? I think the second time was the
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we were talking about Pantoja and Moreno. Yeah, first time in tough. Yeah.
Right, he did, right? So I mean, he did in the second round. But obviously, again, that was in 2016. That was 7 years ago. Like,
second fight was 2018, right?
Yeah. So it's been a while, and obviously it's gotten better. Marcus likes Pantoja too. I think he wins too, Marcus, and that would be my pick there. But I mean, honestly, like, Moreno's a guy that I
he developed.
Pardon?
He developed.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I constantly underrate him. Like he's not the same guy he was a few years ago. He's much better now, obviously. Yeah, Moreno's a great dude. I mean, the guy builds a Lego, right, Marcel? Like he's kind of like the thing that got me into it too, right? Like I love it too. It's always posting it. You got that Bowser one. I don't know if you saw that. I have that too. It's so awesome.
It's pretty fun, you know. I'm Franco. You're more into Lego, and he's
yeah. I love it, man. You guys don't need to see the rest of the office. It's just covered with it now. You don't see that part of it. You just see the fighters behind me. If you look over there, though, it's like everywhere. Brandon's one of the things that got me into it. Yeah, people do. I mean, I've been overlooking him, to be honest with you. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Gilbert. I mean, this fight wasn't even close. Like I said, Marcel, like for me, it was like, does he win by decision or by submission? And I'm really not surprised he submitted him, but it was pretty fast. Like I gotta be honest, he was a little faster than I thought. Because remember, Neil fought. I remember when he fought RDA a few years ago. That was in 20. It was basically the same fight, 2017, 6 years ago. Very similar fight. He just basically took him down. Even Shavkat, I guess, submitted him 2 fights ago. I just thought with like the D-Rod fight that I guess he was the one who submitted D-Rod. It's not defensive but offensive, but still, like I thought that he's made some improvements. The grappling probably go to the distance, like Wonder Boy did. But I actually like looking back at it. I think the fact that like Wonder Boy was able to go 3 rounds with Gilbert and not get submitted, that's kind of a good thing for him, if anything. But yeah, obviously. The fight was not very close. It wasn't competitive. Marcel Burns looked great. He's calling out Covington now. I think he's calling him Bilal Muhammad too. Either of those fights make sense. I think Burns is one fight away from fighting for the belt again, probably. I think he's a great fighter. We all love the guy. He's very popular. He looked amazing. Any quick thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I think the difference with the fight with Thompson is that Burns wasn't afraid for Magny to stand up. You know what I mean? And against Thompson, he was afraid that Thompson would be able to stand up again. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
I don't think he was afraid for Magny's striking, but he rather not strike with Thompson. You know, which I can understand, obviously. Yeah, well done by Burns. What can you say, man? The thing is with Burns, it's like he fell in love with his hands during the years, but he can still fall back to his basics, you know, and that's his great BJJ game, you know, and man, good finish, man. Quick first round. Didn't expect the first round. I had the decision, I think, or maybe Burns late, but not first round. So yeah, props to him, you know, and good for Gilbert to get back on track after that great fight, but lost against Chimaev last year.
Do you think he fights Colby next or Bilal?
I hope it either be Colby or Bilal. I think he deserves one of those names, you know. He shouldn't fight some a number 12 guy, although I respect Neil Magny a lot, but he shouldn't fight so far down.
I guess Masvidal's also there, but I don't know. Like, it feels like he's not going to fight anytime soon, and it seems
Masvidal only wants to fight
for the belt.
You know, the big money fights, where he thinks he can win and look good. You know, that's what I feel with Masvidal.
For sure. Apparently, Safe said that Moreno's falling one leg because he had a bad injury. It's interesting. What do you think the odds would be for Bilal and Burns? I mean, Bilal's another guy that honestly I've been underrating for a while. I didn't expect him to be Sean Brady. I don't think you picked him either in that fight, Marcel. Like, that was surprising to me. I would definitely favor Burns though. I would probably go 2-1 in Burns. That's my thoughts. You go to Burns. Obviously, you would lean him.
Yeah, definitely.
How could you not? I mean, he's such a great fighter.
By the way, about Moreno, I was kind of surprised earlier today, man. The UFC sent out an email with the champion shirts, champion T-shirts with the Moreno face on it, and with Jamahal Hill, another T-shirt. Jamahal Hill is still available in the UFC Europe shop. Brandon Moreno, every size sold out.
Yeah, he's a very popular guy.
But Europe, Europe, huh?
I know what you said. It's just how do you not like the guy?
True.
He's an easy guy to like.
Absolutely.
Rob Burns' wife told him about the stand bag. She wanted a quick submission, and he delivered. I mean, there's a lot of things we could say about that comment you said, but I won't even get into it.
That's why, by the way, very nice as well. You know, so she's always like super supportive of him. Also, on she follows me on Instagram. I follow her as well. She's super supportive and also very nice to talk to sometimes. So,
I love Gilbert Burns, man. I think he's such an awesome dude. He's just a good ambassador for the sport. Yeah,
but really great family overall, man. Yeah,
he's such a good dude, man. Like, he really is. So I'm not surprised that he has a nice family, because he's such a good dude. Like, what was the fight he gave? Remember, didn't he send someone money after they knocked out someone? Who was it? Adrian Yanez, I want to say, when he knocked out that dude, Tony Kelly. Didn't he send him like money over?
Yeah,
like $10,000 or something. He's like, hey, I'm giving you a bonus or something because This guy was talking shit with Brazil.
Brazil.
Anyways, let's go to the next fight here. Yeah, Jessica Andrade just destroys Lauren Murphy. Fight was not close at all. I honestly, this fight should have been stopped. You know, and Lauren's on Twitter now, and she's been releasing these comments saying like, "I'm glad my corner didn't stop the fight." But here's the thing: she absorbed 231 significant strikes in 3 rounds. Jamahal Hill, you thought that was a beating. 232 over 5 rounds. Okay, this was the same amount except for like 1 strike, which is basically the same because you could count it that way. Over 3 rounds. Marcel, this fight, look at the scorecards: 30-25, 30-25, 30-26. Fight was not competitive at all. I really do think the corner should have stopped the fight after the second round. That's my honest opinion. Has nothing to do with Lauren being a woman. She's super tough. We all know that. It's just, you got to live to fight another day. And what was the point of sending her up to the 3rd round? She had no way to win the fight. She's getting brain damage for no reason, essentially. Like, I don't know. I just think the fight should have stopped. And honestly, I think even the referee or doctor could have stopped the fight because it was that much of a beating, Marcel, where it's like, we don't really need to see it anymore, you know? Anyways, that's my thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, I think she is too tough for her own good, like Glover, pretty much,
Yep.
you know? And I think she said, like, she was happy the corner didn't stop it, but the ref should have stopped it. So that's kind of weird to me, you know? It's really kind of...
I think her husband's like in her corner too, so it's kind of like a tough thing. It's like, you know, like it's not just a regular coach; it's also her husband. I think he's the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. I'm just reading her comments right now. Hey, let me pull it up here. Let's read what she said. Oh, Marcel left. I don't know what happened there. I'll pull up the comment, guys. I don't know what happened. There he is. He's right there. What happened? You clicked the wrong button, eh?
Kind of weird. I have no idea.
All right, here we go. Let's pull up what she said. She says, anyone arguing Glover's corner should have stopped it. I saw him after the fight. He looked worse than me. Well, his eyes are closed. He took a ton of unnecessary shots. But I think a lot of people were saying that fight should have been stopped too, to be fair, Marcel. Like, anyways, what about Ortega when he got box listed and fight for Max? That fight was stopped actually after the 4th round, so I'm not sure what the point is there. Darren Elkins' career. I don't know. I just don't really agree with what she's saying here. Like, I get what she's saying. Look, I told my corner would do what they wanted. I tried to hell make it happen. I get it. But she's too tough for her own good. That's basically what you said, Marcel.
But
right?
I agree with her where she said, like, can you go back to the next
Sure.
the next or to the yeah, she says like, I can't let me see, just y'all drive me nuts because we are damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. I kind of agree with that, you know, because if the coroner throws in the towel, there will be people who are saying like, good, they saved the fighter, or damn, there's Amy Kaplan. Go with her.
I kind of agree. So, I mean, listen, I know you're not the biggest fan of her. I actually agree with what she says here because she's saying like, we're just worried about you. Like, and that's what it comes down to. We're not, I don't think, I know, well, a lot of people were like, they bet on Andrade by knockout and they wanted the fight stopped because of that. But I'm just saying, like, for me, it's like, I'm watching it and I'm like, all right, Lauren's like, you know, she's an older fighter too. Like, same with Glover, right? And it's like, I don't, like, how many years does she really have left? Isn't she like almost 40 years old? Like, probably only has a few years left. It's the kind of beating that takes years off your career potentially. I don't know. I just think the fight should have been stopped, man. That's my opinion. After the second round.
I mean, but yeah, I understand. But I also understand her side. You know, where before people got criticized, you know, that they stopped the fight while they could still continue. Although I agree with you as well. You know, I think
look at this. So first round, 61 significant strikes absorbed. Okay, and that's like pretty bad.
Yeah,
then 75 after the second. But Marcel, the 3rd round, 95. She didn't need to absorb those 95 significant strikes. She really just didn't. You know,
it's like we recently had that fight where we were like, who was it again? With the guy who had was it Nick Maximoff? Yeah. Against who was it again? Malkoun.
Yeah, Jacob Malkoun, where he had a knee injury or something, and
exactly, and
that fight should have been stopped too. I mean, what's the point? The guy's literally hobbled; he can't walk. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but that fight should have been stopped immediately because the guy was injured. Like, look at this though, 0 for 15 with the takedown. That's not good. Man, Andrade looked great though. Now she's calling for a rematch with Wei Li Zhang. I think that fight makes sense. I really do.
I love it.
I love it too. And she also said Valentina again, but that's not going to happen. I think she should go back to 115.
100.
That first fight was very quick. It was only like 40 seconds, I want to say. She just blitzed her. She destroyed her. I want to see the rematch, Marcel. I want to see the rematch.
She has 3 options at strawweight, in my opinion. You know, you do either the rematch with Zhang Weili, you know, you can do the 3rd fight with Rose, it's 1-1. I'm not really looking forward to that one, but you can do it, you know. For some reason, she never fought Carla Esparza at strawweight. They never fought each other, you know, and that's a good fight as well. If you want to let Andrade wait for a next title shot, and you want to like propel somebody else in there, you know. But the thing is, like now, if she goes back to strawweight, she has a win over Lemos, and Lemos beat Marina Rodriguez. You know what I mean? So it's like Andrade should still be in front, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's a weird thing, like being active at strawweight and flyweight. She's pretty much a contender at 2 weight classes, which is crazy to me, you know. And people will say, yeah, Nunes has belts in both 2 weight classes. There's only 1 weight class and 1 stupid class, you know. So, but this is 2 actual weight classes with strawweight and flyweight. So this is super impressive to me. And I think
he's great, man.
Yeah,
I've always liked Andrade. I remember I met her after she won the belt the next day. It was awesome, and she's such a great fighter. Anyways, there's a couple of comments, guys. Yeah, Jessica looked great. Oh, sorry, I missed this comment about Burns. Can he still get gold? I think so. I think it's possible, but like, I do think like if you fought Leon Edwards, I think that's a more winnable fight than like Usman.
Definitely.
You know, how do you guys think about the fans in Brazil treat the athletes? I think they treated their own fighters good, but I don't think they treated some of the like, the international fighters that great personally. But
they should do an event in Brazil next year and just punish them and only do foreign fighters on it and non-Brazilian.
Yeah.
Corner
stopped more fights than Kivas and tied to win both. That's true too. Did Carla retire? I don't think she did. Did she?
I don't think so. No,
I don't think so either. But she didn't look good in the last fight, obviously. Johnny Walker knocks out Paul Craig. Fight could have
no. Paul Craig.
The fight was going to go either way. It was either Johnny Walker knocking out Craig or Craig submitting him. Like I said, I stuck at picking Paul Craig's fights. I just give up. Like, I can't get this guy's fights right. I give up on his fights. Whatever I say, just pick the opposite. So I hope you guys did. Yeah, I mean, Johnny Walker looked good, but it's like Paul Craig's a chinny guy. Like, he's been knocked out a bunch of times. Like, it's a good win, obviously, on paper, but I don't think it's like an amazing win either. I don't think it's like Johnny's saying, I'm going to be a heavyweight and light heavyweight champion. Like, come on, slow your roll, bro. Like, he's good. Don't get me wrong. I like Johnny Walker. I've always liked him. He's an entertaining guy, but like before, he beat Cutelaba and Craig, who were 2 very flawed fighters, you know, and then before that lost 4 or 5. So he's a good fighter, Marcel. I just think that he's got to slow his roll a little bit. Any quick thoughts on this performance?
Yeah, for God's sake, stop calling him crack, Adam.
Sorry.
No, I was just kidding, obviously. Paul Craig said to my colleague Dennis, he was like, Dennis said to him, like, you as a Scottish man, you probably like Johnny Walker. And he started to laugh. He's like, you know, normally when I have a few Johnny Walkers and Scottish people got Johnny Walkers, they got a little bit lightheaded in the head. He says, but this is the first time a Scottish man will win against Johnny Walker. But it didn't happen. He caught the kick from Johnny, you know, but the thing was like, Johnny has such a long reach. He kept punching. Paul Craig keeps holding the leg for some reason, and then Johnny comes in the position where he's like hammer fisting, you know, and it was over. It was quick. This was pretty much like Paul Craig submission or Johnny Walker knockout, you know, first round, in my opinion. I picked submission with Paul Craig because I was like, Johnny's going to go crazy in the beginning. Paul Craig gets him into his guard and might pull out a triangle choke. That's what I thought was going to happen. Didn't happen. Good win for Walker. Second win, back-to-back win. Finally, again, look like look a little bit more like the old Walker we saw earlier, you know, who knocking out his opponent. He will be in the top 10 after today. So good for him, you know. Looking forward what's next for him. I hope he has a good year because he's an entertaining fighter, let's be honest. And he seems like a super cool guy as well.
Yeah, no, I like Johnny. Like, I met him too when I went to Brazil a few years ago. We had dinner with him. He was awesome, man. Like, I don't think I ever showed you guys those pictures. Actually, let me pull it up here because it's good memories, you know. Let me pull it up here. And this was not at the event. We actually went out for dinner with him, so it's not like I was at the event taking pictures with the guys. Like, we went out for dinner with him, and I want to say Aaron was there with me too. But anyways, let me pull it up here. I gotta get pull up my Instagram here, Marcel. Gotta go back a few years. I don't take a lot of pictures these days. I haven't posted anything on here in months. Let's see here. Suck. I want to see. It was. Jeez, man. It's crazy. Like so many memories, you know. Yeah. It was
question.
20. Yeah.
Question, Marcus. Who would you book Walker to fight? Top 10 and 205 points. I would book him against Özdemir.
Would you? Yeah. All right, here we go. I'll show you guys this funny. This is 2019 when I went saw the fight in Brazil. Me and Johnny here. That was awesome, eh? We had dinner with him. I'm pretty tall too, but he's even taller than me. Obviously, he was awesome though. We had like it was with poker stars, right? They were like, just get whatever you want. I got like lobster steak. I got everything. But he was awesome, and it's that was a really cool event. Here he was with DC and Bruce Buffer, and I got to meet. It's funny. I got to meet BJ, and then I started working for his website the next week. So that was awesome. And then this was awesome too. Hey Marcel, that was good too. No, but this was cool. When I met Andrade too, so that was a lot of fun. Saw her I was checking out from the hotel room, and then she was literally in front of me in line. That was the night after she won the belt. I'm like, I gotta say hi to her, and she was awesome. So it was cool. Again, I wasn't working that event. If I was working, you shouldn't be doing that. But I was not working. I was there as a fan. That was it, Marcel. So it was fun. Couple questions for you guys. Do you guys think Walker can capture the future champion talks if he masters trade? He's only 30. Yeah, I don't know. I like the guy. Just saying, I just think he's flawed. Why would Craig clinch the Walker's leg getting punched in the face? Yeah, it was not very smart. What's up, Pato? Glad to have you here, man. Brad Big. I think you've asked this, right? Or someone was asking this about Brad Martin. I have no idea either. Yeah, Craig didn't look good. He didn't look good against Ozdemir either, to be honest with you. Like, he hasn't looked good lately. What clone do you got, Marcel? What is it?
Oh, that's well, let me show it in the screen. It's maybe better. It's like Versace Eros Flame.
There you go. Yeah, you were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
Marcel needs to smell good for the ladies in Denmark, over there in Denmark.
Denmark. What the hell?
Just kidding. Do you guys know Jelton and Romanov, the same manager? Yeah, it's who's the manager? Is it Alex Davis or who's their manager?
Jelton. Yeah, no, that's Thiago Okamura.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it's Thiago. Sorry, Thiago. I like Thiago. He's that big guy. He's that big half Japanese Brazilian guy. You always see it.
Super nice guy as well.
Yeah, he's awesome. He follows me on Twitter and stuff. He's great. Who do you guys have in Smith and Walker? That's a good fight, guys. You people have asked about that. I guess I would probably favor Anthony Smith still, just because I think he's so proven. But it would depend if it's 3 or 5 rounds too. I do think that would be a difference. Who would you pick in that? Like, or lean, I guess.
It's difficult, listen, man, if you look at Walker in his last 2 fights, I would say Walker, but Walker is like super inconsistent, I would say. So, and for Smith, if you fight Smith, you got a tough fight, So it depends if it's a 3 or a 5 rounder. If it's a 3 rounder, I might pick Walker. If it's 5 rounder, I might pick Smith.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty much my thoughts too on that one. Just a couple other questions. Any early thoughts on Hill and Yuri? Well, I mean, hopefully it happens. I probably would lean Hill just because I feel like he's more defensively sound, but I mean, I really don't know. Like, it's a very close fight. Shaparoo and Magomedov. Any word? You have any?
Nothing yet. Probably soon.
Guys, surprised got signed only 6 pro fights. Lazy King. I don't know why he's not in the UFC. That guy should be in the UFC. I think he won his last fight at Aries, right? So
yeah, crazy, man. He was behind on the scorecards, I think 4-0, and he pulled off like a knee bar in the final 45 seconds.
That's insane. Well, is that good or bad though for the matchmakers? Do they look at that and they're like, "Well, this guy's not that good," or do they think, "Okay, that's an amazing comeback"? I'm not really sure how they would look at that, but I've heard he's really good. Obviously,
yeah, he is.
His record shows that. All right, Shogun Hoover gets finished by Igor Peteria, retires. It's just a shame seeing him lose. I thought this fight could win. I really do, Marcel. I still think he could have won this fight, but just too old now and didn't. Honestly, like when I saw him on the scale, I was a little bit worried. He didn't look very good physically to me. And Igor's a young guy, but it's just like such a bad loss. Like Igor's coming off that knockout loss to Nikolai Negumerev, who's like not even top 15. Like this is just a really bad loss for Shogun, and obviously made the right call to retire. I hope he stays in retirement. I hope he's not one of these guys that comes back to Bellator or to the PFL or something. I really hope he sticks with this retirement because he's taking so much damage. Legend of the sport. Love watching this guy fight. Just an absolute legend, but a bad way to go out, in my opinion. Any thoughts?
I got just really annoyed by how Peteria acted in the cage, and I know after he said afterwards on the pro fight presser, like, I'm a duelist. I actually paid him respect. Just look weird, dude. Just act normal. I understand it's your first win in the UFC. But you're fighting an absolute legend, And that's why I also lost a lot of respect for Rory McDonald when he fought BJ Penn. He started to showboat against BJ Penn.
Oh, when he did all these shuffle and stuff? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
you don't showboat against legends, in my opinion. You just don't do that, in my opinion. And the thing is, like, you're also like in Brazil, is in front of his home crowd. act a little bit normal. You know what I mean? You win the fight, be happy, shake his hand, walk back and party in the back. You know what I mean? That would I would have done, but this was like, and he's even like, yeah, I'm from Ukraine, and I will be the next big. I was like, dude, you're so off.
Like, you knocked out the ghost of Shogun Rua, basically. Like,
yeah, it's just like I was really annoyed by that, and I lost a lot of respect for him.
Fair enough. I mean, I honestly don't think this guy's that great, to be honest with you. Like,
but
it was a good win for him. It's good on his resume, but.
And we got to say it also, like, we were like, the UFC gives Shogun a fight you maybe can win, because we weren't high on
I don't regret picking him in this fight. I really don't. Like, I regret picking.
I feel the same way, but there is like there's like a upside and a downside on this one. If you got Shogun a better opponent, he would have probably lost as well. But at least you fought a better opponent. Now you're fighting a guy who had 0 wins in the UFC. Lost his first fight by stoppage, and you have Shogun losing to him, which actually look even more worse. You know what I mean? You can look at from both sides, and it just went wrong for Shogun. Listen, don't get me wrong, good win for Poteria. Gotta respect that, but all the antics, he shouldn't have done that.
Fair enough. A couple comments here. Yeah, smash that like and subscribe button. Hell yeah. Cher and Gerald. That'd be good. You're talking about Lazy King. Yeah, he was up a weight class there. Bomb Fumes, we'll talk about them in a second. Antoine, they're awesome. Better card on paper, 283 or 284. I think 282. I mean, 284 is kind of like, it's got Parker Porter on the main card on the pay per view. Like, I don't know about that. Like, no offense to Parker, he's a bigger guy like us, Marcel, but I don't know about that. All right.
I even thought was funny when I posted the card. Justin Taffa replied under it, and he was like, "Oh my god, I was thinking I would be much earlier on the card."
I mean, they're I think they're hoping for a knockout. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
All right. Speaking of knockouts, the great segue here. Bruno Ferreira knocks out Greg Rodriguez. Great pick, Marcel. I honestly didn't think he'd win this fight. I'm disappointed because I had a big parlay going and he was the only one that missed. So I'm like, fuck, like, should listen to Marcel. Remember we talked about last week with that Gorilla asked us for the parlay. So I had all those fighters and I added Moises and I added Ferreira. But I shouldn't have added Ferreira. That was the mistake I made. So he ended up costing me. I had like 6 guys. It was like plus 500 parlay and the one guy loses. It is what it is. I like RoboCop, but obviously he's taking a lot of damage, and I'm not. I guess I'm not shocked looking back at it now they got caught, but I don't know, Marcel. I just thought that with the experience he had against like Chidi and Jung Park and all these guys, like I thought that it would help him out, but he just got caught, So good win for Ferrer though, man. Great win. Any thoughts? Good pick, by the way.
Yeah. You just gotta have something. This is probably one of my best picks of the year. That's gonna be, sometimes you gotta have a little bit of luck. The thing is, like what I told you last week is like, if Bruno Ferreira is gonna win this fight, he knocks him out probably in the first round. And it was a gamble, to pick him because I think Rodriguez is the better fighter of the two. But Rodriguez is sometimes kind of chinny. We saw it as well in the Jordan Williams fight. In the Contender Series back then, and. Yeah, I mean, Bruno Ferreira has sick power, He's the Hulk for a reason. He looks like a Hulk, and he got some really good power, I think Rodriguez is much better technical fighter, That's why if it went to the second, third round, I would have easily picked him. I think, to be honest, if you fight this fight 10 times, maybe Rodriguez wins 7 or 8 times, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But, I took a gamble on this one. Good win for Ferreira. Knockout first round. Looking for what's next for him, He's a beast. Don't know if he is... Now we will probably have a little bit more of a higher ceiling because he knocked out RoboCop, right? But we'll see, what's next. And I feel bad for RoboCop, man. He was supposed to fight Brett Tavares, who he was just not in the top 15 anymore. I think he was number 16. So he would have been really close to the rankings. And now he probably has to fight down again. Yeah. That sucks, because I think if he fought Brett Tavares, I would have favored him. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
He took a risk here, right? By fighting a guy short notice. But I mean,
I respect it, honestly.
I think he just had a kid recently, so he needed the money, obviously, and I mean, I know how that is. I mean, respect to him for taking a short unranked guy, but what main events potentially be more legendary based on the stakes of your fight? 284, 285. Ooh, that's a good question. I would say obviously Jones and Kondo. I mean, to me, that's that would be there. All right. Thiago Moises submits Ezekiel. I can't even say this guy's name. It's hard. Costa. Yeah, I mean, fight wasn't really competitive, Marcel. Any quick thoughts on this one?
Melchizael Costa also took the fight on short notice, right, against Moises. Moises was supposed to fight Kutate Latse. Good win for Moises, man. He did what he had to do, and I think Costa isn't a bad fighter, but short notice. Only thing that kind of, I mean, he probably is used to it, but kind of annoyed me that people was talking shit about him, about his vitiligo. It's like, you guys should do a little bit more research. Like he can't do anything about it. But I think he's a decent fighter, Costa, but Moises is just better. And he won. Moises should win against a short notice guy, in my opinion. Definitely making his debut. So he did well, and he finished him. So, credits to Moises. I think Moises is the kind of guy who gets underrated a lot in the division, and
yeah. I mean, to be honest,
really
though, Marcel, like that's not really the hardest fight for him, this one.
True, but still,
Yeah.
Still, listen, man. You can also lose like Rodriguez did, against a short notice opponent, and he won.
That's true.
And he finished him. So
that's a good point. Although this guy, yeah, I mean, it's a little lesser weight class, less chance of a knockout, but yeah,
true.
I know what you're saying. Hey Joe, what's going on, man? And your Eagles, Joe, man, they keep killing it. Maybe win the championship this year. All right. Let's go to the Bonfim brother. Well, talk about Gabriel first. Yeah, I mean, we both liked him here. Marcel Smits, Munar Lizas, in under a minute.
Yeah.
UFC so cheap, man. They had like 10 finishes. They only gave out like 2 finish bonuses. Come on. Like, both the Bonfims deserve the bonus. And so did Ferreira, in my opinion, too.
You know what's so stupid, man? They now give the performance bonus to Almeida. While I was like,
why?
I've seen better finishes of Almeida last time, and then they didn't give him a bonus. So it's like, I don't understand. I
don't get it either. Like, don't get me wrong, he looked amazing. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about it now. He looked great, but the fight was a joke. Like, Shamil sucks. He's terrible. He shouldn't even be. He's lost 4 straight fights by knockout. That guy should not be. He's getting cut, Marcel. Okay, I'm sorry, but he's not good. He's not a good fighter. And to me, like, Munar Lizez is a pretty good fighter. Like, he's not bad at all. So
no, he's not.
Yeah, I'm with you. Anyways, Bonfim looked great. Might as well talk. But we'll quickly go to his brother. We'll skip the other.
Yeah.
We'll go through it. I mean, we both picked these. It's nothing against. We both like Terrence. Like, he's great, but like, this guy is no special, man. And he obviously knocked him with a flying knee. He got the bonus. Well deserved. He's phenomenal. Like, both these guys are great. I think they're both gonna have great careers. Antoine, you're asking about the Bonfims. They're both gonna have great careers. The parlay, Cash Marcel, the Bonfim brothers parlay. We talked about that last week on the podcast. Yeah. That was we had 3 consensus dogs. We had at least one of them hit. And it was Bonfim. So I mean, to me, like, honestly, looking back at it, I think he was the best bet in the card. Like, this fight wasn't really that competitive, honestly. And I think here's the thing about the fight, Marcel. Terrence went away from what makes him special, and that's him being very explosive in the first round, crazy, right? And he was like, all right, I want to pace myself. That's just not his game. So he's in a tough spot now, because like, if he doesn't pace himself, he might get finished later on, like the Dober fight. But if he does pace himself, he loses that explosivity and that, like, just unorthodox, just like crazy striking style. So I think he's got to get back to what he's good at. Unfortunately, like, you'll probably end up suffering some more knockout losses for it, but I don't know, Marcel. Like, I love Terrence. I'm just saying, like, I think he's got to get back to that guy he was a few fights ago. Any quick thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I mean, Terrence. The thing with Terrence is, and I talked to Terrence yesterday a little bit before I chat. He's a kind of an outspoken guy, on Twitter as well. He talks a lot about stuff, and people get really angry sometimes about it. He's young. He thinks sometimes different than other people, and he's a talented guy. And for me, he's like, Terrence for me is like, he went through a lot in his life, He's in a happy place now. He's still learning, and he is confident in his own skills, and he wants to show it. And I feel I don't like it that people going that hard after him, he's a little bit brash, on social media, but I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me, And I think he's super respectful to his opponents, actually. You saw after the fight, he went drinking with Bonfim. He was super cool with him, I also talked to him via DM. I told him as well, like, dude, I respect that a lot. It says a lot about you if you get knocked out like that, and after that you just share a drink with your opponent, and you're just being cool, And I wish him nothing but the best. I think he's a real good guy, and I feel bad for people talking so much shit about him. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter and on Instagram. It's like super crazy. It's like, come on, guys. I mean, this dude, he tries to do the best for himself, for his career. You don't have to agree with everything he says. I also don't particularly agree with everything a fighter says, but my thing is like, I don't reply to everything. If I don't agree with it, you can scroll. You don't have to reply to every single thing a fighter says that you don't agree with. But that's today's world. All these people want to reply and disagree with everybody, which what everybody thinks. It's like, sometimes I don't agree with Adam Martin here, but I love Adam Martin, man. He's a friend of mine. So
I love Marcel too.
Yeah,
Bro
yeah, for sure. So why would we like make an argument about stuff we don't agree with? Sometimes you disagree. Wouldn't it be a sucky world if everybody agrees, man? You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, I think Terence didn't fight the way he should fight normally. At the same time, I think Bonfim is super talented. And I think Bonfim is really good, and he will make waves in the UFC. So it's not a bad loss. It's just the way he lost. The knockout was devastating, even without his mouth guard in. So yeah, I just want to say, like, to people, like, why would you talk shit to fighters? Just stupid. I hate it. I can't stand it, and I just don't like to see it at all. And that's for barstools. You're even worse. You're supposed to be media. Act like media, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
no, for sure.
yeah, that I should stop ranting, but I had to say it.
It's all right. Yeah, the Bonfim brother parlay was great. How does Almeida do against upper echelon heavyweight? Like, what do you call Volkov? I don't know. Like, I still think he should be at 205. He's not the biggest heavyweight. I don't know. Like, he's great. He's really good, but
he's now going to get ranked at heavyweight, so I expect him to be staying at heavyweight.
Here's the thing. Like, what if he can't take his opponent down though? Like, then what? So.
There was a question in my the other podcast, Dutch podcast. If you would say who's the bigger talent, Almeida or Aspinall, who would you say?
Probably Tom.
Yeah,
I like Shelton, but yeah.
The thing is, like, Tom is more proven so far, against better heavy. Yeah, exactly. So I really like actually what Antoine here says. What would happen if Almeida fought Volkov? Because Volkov has been the best opponent Aspinall fight so far, beat so far in the UFC, his best opponent. So
no, I agree.
Yeah, I like that actually.
Terence losing made McKinney and Pittman closer happening. I don't think they're going to do that fight, but I would say, yeah, it's probably closer now than if he had won and knocked him out. His first non-US fight career experience. Yeah, for sure. How's for an Anderson? That sounds good. For Beski, I'm not sure. You notice the moment Terence got playing about fighter P got fed to Bonfim. It was a bad fight the moment they announced it.
How crazy is it actually that they made the Bobby Green against Jared Gordon fight when Bobby Green said last time, like, they would never make me fight Paddy Pimblett because they know they would be in trouble, and that they then they make the fight against the last opponent Paddy fought, So, pretty funny to me. And that's a fun fight, by the way, as well, I think.
Cody Stamen defeats Duan Lacerda. Honestly, Marcel, I thought the other guy won the fight. Like, it was very close, but I think you picked Lacerda, didn't you? Like, I thought he won.
I did. I don't think he won.
Okay, that's funny.
I had Stamen 1 and 2, but 2 was close. 1 was clear Stamen, 3 was clear Lacerda, and 2 was pretty close. So I expected actually Lacerda to get the win because we were in Brazil, But then the funny thing is, like, the only Brazilian judge gave it to Stamen, and one of the 2 American judges gave it to Lacerda. So it's like, right? Was it split or was it unanimous?
It was unanimous.
Oh, then I'm confusing with the Dolby.
No, it's fine because actually the UFC posted on their Twitter like it was a split decision, but it wasn't. It was unanimous. But I saw that tweet. People were like, "Wait, no, it wasn't." Anyways, yeah, I mean, good. I mean, I thought Stamen would win, but remember I said last week, I'm like, it's always weird when they book these fights where like it seems so obvious the guy should win. Like, I'm not talking about Jailton and Shabil. I mean, that fight was a joke, but like this fight, it's like this guy is pretty good, and he's fighting a guy that's like pretty good too. Maybe there's something more to this, and obviously he almost won the fight. Speaking of split decisions, Nicholas Dalby wins a split over Warley Alves. I think we both picked Warley. I definitely thought Nicholas won. The split decision is a bad call. Derek Cleary, he didn't see the fight very clear, in my opinion. I mean, it was pretty obvious. Like, Dalby outstruck him 119 and 66. Like, obviously won the fight.
I mean, yeah, that clearly probably I got some nice Brazilian gifts. I don't know, whatever, but how can you not see that Dalby won that fight? And you saw Dalby's face when he heard split decision. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna get fucked here. But thank God 2 judges saw it the way they should see it. Warley, did you saw Warley blow his nose and his eye popped up? You saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was like Alvarez 2 or like Cowboy 2
Yeah.
who did that as well. It's like,
You
yeah,
think
you
he
should.
gets cut, Marcel? You think that's it for him?
I would think there is a big chance he will, because I don't think
Yeah.
he's on 10+10. You know what I mean? I think he makes a pretty amount of money. He's also a former Ultimate Fighter winner, so I think he's probably around the 40-50K.
Yeah.
I think that, listen, man, if they already cut Mike Trezano because they think he's too
He did
expensive.
miss weight, Mike Trezano's last fight, but he had such a great fight that I thought they'd keep him around. Anyways, I'm just looking at his record: 8-6 in the UFC. He does have a win over Colby Covington though, and Munar Lazez.
Crazy, right?
So, yeah, the Covington win looks really good in hindsight. And then, like I said, Lazez is a good win too. He knocked him out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Man, the time goes by fast. Anyways, I would hope they keep him for one more fight because I enjoy watching the guy fight, but I think there's a good chance he gets cut. I think the loser of this fight was going to get cut, in my opinion. Because Dalby also, Dalby's actually he's on a win streak now, but yeah.
Dalby's like the Brazilian killer, right? He fought Claudio Silva last time. He beat Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos in Brazil in his debut.
Yep. He's 1-2. He's actually 4-0 against Brazilians. He also beat Alex Cowboy Oliveira. So he's 4-0 against Brazilians. That's crazy. Yeah, Jose Nunez. I mean, this fight was actually against Air. It was actually more competitive than I thought, to be honest with you. Like again, the size difference. Like this girl should not be fighting at 145. What?
Josiana had to jump to get to Sarah's face.
Bro, why is she fighting at 140? I don't get it. Like 5'2". Why is she in this weight class? Anyways, first round, Zara Farron looked good, but she punched herself out. I think she just used too much energy.
She did.
Yeah, she punched herself out, and she couldn't get the finish, and then clearly lost the last 2 rounds. I remember during the fight, they're showing the live odds. It was like a pick'em fight or something. I'm like, put everything you have on Nunez right now.
Definitely.
Yeah, like she's not going to win the fight after the first round. That was her only chance to win. I'll give her credit. She looked way better than I thought, and she's almost 40 years old. So she looked better than I thought. But she's almost 40, and now she's 0-3. I don't think she gets another fight in the UFC.
I said on a tweet management of Nunez asked Nunez what weight class you want to fight, and Nunez replies yes. So I mean, she shouldn't fight a featherweight. This was it looked like David against Goliath in the cage, and David won because Goliath only had gas for 1 round, and she didn't use her size advantage and a reach advantage, definitely on the second and third round. And Nunez won the fight. She deserved to win. She won the second and third round. So yeah, good for Nunez, man. But a super weird fight,
For sure. And then I'll open up the card, Marcel. So
Good
this
pick.
is fucked because I didn't even know the card started at 5:30, and I was sitting there watching the Raptors game against the Celtics, and then I'm on Twitter and people were like, "Oh my god, what a crazy knockout by Marcos!" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "When did this start?" I missed your tweet because I saw you tweet about it after. But yeah, I picked him, Marcel. So that was a good pick by me. Marcos getting the knockout win. That was a good. I wish we both picked him in this fight. And it was crazy because the oddsmakers open as the favorite. He switched to underdog. So if you got him at plus money, it was a good bet. Actually, you could have got both guys at plus money and made a guaranteed profit this fight if you did it smart. But anyways, yeah, he looked good. He looked really good. I think Oliveira's getting cut too, Marcel. I think that's it for him.
It's very likely 0-2. Maybe to give him a third one, but yeah, 0-2 and didn't look good, man. No. I think Marcos looked really sharp. Beautiful strikes to the body as well. Beautiful knee to the body, which dropped him. And yeah, good finish, man. A good win for Marcos. Man, I went with the wrong debut guy, right? I went with Lacerda and not with Marcos. And I was like, I should have went with Marcos and not with Lacerda. But I think Lacerda didn't look bad at all. So, yeah.
That happens. Who do you guys have in Burn and Covington? Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh. I guess, I don't know. I like Gilbert Burns a lot, man. And Covington hasn't been that active lately. But he's good, too. He's so proven. He had 2 really close fights with Usman. I don't know. I guess I would favor Burns a little bit. How about you? Difficult, eh?
Yeah, I'm Burns, but not sure. Yeah.
Here's a good question from Marcus. Whose stock dropped the most? I mean, besides Shogun, who retired, I'm not going to say Shogun because I think it would be him. I think Paul Craig, Marcel, he looked terrible. Also, Shamil looked awful again. Those 2 guys. I think even Figueiredo didn't look very good either, to be honest with you. I thought a great fighter. What are you going to say?
I think Gregory Rodriguez.
Or even Rodriguez. Yeah, that's also a bad loss, man.
Probably also T-Rex.
There's a lot of good options actually on this card. Lazez too. I mean, that's another one.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Murphy.
if you look at popularity, Gregory Rodriguez and T-Rex are really popular as well at the same time. Like I said, T-Rex has a really cool fan base, but he has a lot of haters as well. Rodriguez actually only has a fan base, doesn't have too much haters. So it's like these two. I think many people pick these two to win. If I look at the internet, many people were on T-Rex, many people were Rodriguez. So when you lose to somebody, they don't expect you to lose to both against debut guys. Your stock drop a little bit more, I think, than others, but that's just how I see it. I don't. For me, they didn't, but I think the general opinion would be that way.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of options on this card. There's a lot of good performance, but a lot of fighters that didn't look so great. All right, a couple other comments. Highlight of the card, Maynard Ribas. Yeah,
I gotta say, man, that one or either the picture where Mackenzie Dern and Natalia Silva were cheering for Walker after his win. One of the two. Was both.
When did Dern get that tattoo in her ass? Is that new?
I have no idea, dude.
She's just showing off her ass a lot lately. I noticed
I
the
saw.
tattoo. I was like, oh, it's interesting. Yeah, she's single now, as you know, Marcel. So you got a chance, man.
Yeah, I don't think I have a chance.
Yeah. Anyways, what about Burns and Muhammad? Ooh, I would favor Burns. I mean, I don't really believe in Bilal. I'm sorry, but I don't. I'm assuming you'd pick Burns that one.
Yeah.
Guram, I think do the Moises fight again. They could rebook that fight. Makes sense still. You like that one?
Yeah, why not? It makes sense. Yeah.
You should hook your fight. Ooh, I mean,
no, I have no idea.
Macanio. I don't know why they didn't book that fight for this next card. I really don't get it. Pavlich being, I thought it was kind of funny, but obviously he got canceled because of it. So, yeah. Now he's like, I didn't understand what it said. I don't speak English or something.
I honestly think there's a language barrier here. Dude.
I think so too, a little bit, but like, I don't know. People just get so offended by everything. Ferguson was either no. Don't do that to Tony, man. Come on. One time I don't bet much. I do. Oh, good picks, man. Very good.
Nice, very nice.
Thoughts on Luke Rockhold? Yeah, I mean, I thought you were tired. I thought you were tired.
Yeah.
I think Bellator makes a lot of sense. Scott Coker obviously had him in Strikeforce, right?
Watch him go to BKFC.
I hope he doesn't go to BKFC, but I think Bellator makes sense. The middleweight division there is very weak. He could easily fight Johnny Eblin. I mean, Johnny Eblin's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like he could fight him. He could fight Gegard Mousasi in a fight we never saw in Strikeforce. That would be a good fight. I think Bellator makes sense. I also think PFL could make sense. I don't know if they're going to do middleweight tournament, but it makes sense. But again, it's like Rockhold shouldn't be fighting anymore because, like, just the amount of damage he's taken. Booker is booked. He said he has a phone coming. You know anything?
Yeah. I don't know against who, but I read it as well. No idea.
All right, cool. Anyways, that's it for UFC 283 recap. It was a good card. Overall, I would give it like 8 or 10 probably. How about you?
I was thinking of something in my head where I was thinking about Rockhold, where remember when he was dating Demi Lovato?
Yeah.
And when Demi said, like, after they were done dating, every night I kissed him on the chin and he went to sleep. Super stupid.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, Demi Lovato.
I give it a 9.5 out of 10. That's
okay,
how good I think the card was.
It was a good card. All right, that's it for the recap. We'll take this last couple questions. We're gonna do a second podcast in a few minutes here. We're gonna do fight announcements, Marcel. We'll do it quickly. That'll be a shorter podcast, obviously. Kenzie knows she's missing about Big Marcel in her life. I know, right? She got rid of that Brazilian dude. Now she needs the Big Marcel in her life. What fight do you think will compete the pay-per-view of 286? I think 4 fights right now. Ooh, I don't know. That's in London, right?
What are the 4 fights? It's a title fight. It's Gaethje Fiziev. It's Dolice against Vittori. Which
I'm checking.
What's also on it?
I think those are the. Is it Gunnar Nelson and D-Rod? Is that in the main card or no?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say I would put Wood against Lerone Murphy on the main card, probably. Maybe Jennifer Maya against O'Neal.
Oh yeah, that's another one too.
I don't think we see any more fights added to it. It's pretty much full, So
there's 14 fights on it right now. Maybe you got
14 and a half actually, because Chris Duncan still needs an opponent. Because
Christian Duncan or
no, you got Christian Leroy Duncan, you got Chris Duncan.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so he needs someone. Okay, all right, fair enough. Dan Hardy's wife's fighting the card. It's interesting. Hey, Mackenzie, if you're watching, Marcel saved me from a burning house a year ago. I love it. That's so funny. All right, let's wrap it up here, Marcel. I'll just quickly plug us here at Adam Martin on Twitter. He's Big Marcel, Twitter, Instagram. You guys follow us there. podcast at MMAOBsRegulator.com. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. It's available everywhere you get your podcast, guys. You can always download the audio version. SoundCloud, iTunes, where else? Anchor, a bunch of places. I got Spotify. I have it everywhere. So you guys can always get it the next day. Bookies.com, MyMeNews.com, MMAOBsRegulator.com. We're gonna do a second podcast here, guys. Just do some fight announcements, and we'll take some questions, and that'll be it for today. If not, if you guys aren't gonna join us on that one, that's totally fine. We'll see you guys next week. But if so, just stick around for about a minute here. I'll post the next podcast. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.